Not all shooters are created equal. You have games like Call of Duty and Battlefield that are more realistic and modern day, and then you have games like Halo and Fear that are more sci-fi and horror based. Our next review comes from a sequel game. Its prequel was a game that had originally been released exclusively for the PC, and that game was Crysis. When this game hit shelves, people went nuts, and not because of the game's amazing graphics, but mostly because in order to play the game, you needed a computer that had basically been forged in the heavens of Olympus. Needless to say, I never got around to playing the first game, but what I'd heard about it sounded promising. Now, 4 years later, EA has released Crysis 2 for the 360, PS3, and PC, and I've had a chance to try it. Check out this review of Crysis 2.
As I mentioned, I never did get around to playing the first game, but I'm not a rookie to first-person shooters, so I did my best to keep an open mind. Right off the bat, it's clear to see that Crysis 2 is a visually stunning game. The opening sequence is just plain awesome. Not to mention, the gameplay is smooth and crisp. The game takes place in New York City in the not-so-distant future around 2038. In the beginning, you're known as Alcatraz the Marine. While traveling in a submarine with your Marine buddies, you're ambushed and, shocker, are the only one who survives the attack. Apparently New York is being invaded by aliens, which we all know has never happened before. Next thing you know, some guy wakes you up and starts rambling all this crap about being infected and says that now it's your turn to wear his suit, you're the only hope, yada yada yada.
You're my last shot here. Gould's last chance. Last chance for all of us.
It reminds me of that movie The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. You know, the scene where Santa falls off the roof and Tim's character just becomes a victim of circumstance.
If something should happen to me, put on my suit, the reindeer will know what to do. Yeah, right.
So now you're not just boring old Marine Alcatraz, you're nanosuit Marine Alcatraz. The nanosuit is pretty neat and allows you to do some things that you wouldn't normally be able to do. You can super jump, power kick cars, go invisible, even maximize your armor. And many other upgrades are unlocked as you progress through the game. To be honest, right out of the gate, I wasn't overly impressed with Crysis 2. It just felt like any other FPS out there. There wasn't anything that really made me go, wow. However, after playing for a while, I started to get used to it a bit. Some things still remain frustrating, like the controls. The controls just feel clunky. I found myself repeatedly hitting the wrong button and doing something I didn't want to do. I'm willing to bet that the PC controls are much more fluid and easy to manage. Controls while driving are a mess. You accelerate with the right trigger, but you fire your primary weapon with the right bumper. You also go in reverse with the left trigger and fire your secondary weapon with the left bumper. So basically, you control the whole vehicle with 4 buttons. This may sound simple, but I had to drive with my middle finger and shoot with my index, and it just made my hands feel awkward. And with a controller that has other buttons on it, why not put these other buttons to use? Controlling your character becomes easier with practice, and once you get the hang of it, it's not so bad. There's a group of soldiers who are out to kill you and take the suit, so most of your enemies are soldiers. But, as I mentioned earlier, New York is under alien invasion, so you do fight aliens. And that brings me to the upgrade section. The aliens are made up of a special tissue that when killed can be absorbed by your nanosuit. You collect these tissue samples and then you are allowed to use them to upgrade your nanosuit. The upgrade screen is neat, but the words are almost impossible to read. Text 101. Use a legible font. One of my favorite parts of any video game is the music score, and Crysis 2 has it together. Just listen to this. simply epic. Another large redeeming part of Crysis 2 is the multiplayer. You can go invisible and cover yourself in armor just like in the solo campaign, but you also have several other perks and special attacks that can help you become more deadly. The multiplayer is action-packed and fast-paced, but it's ridiculously hard. In the beginning, you die a lot. But as you level up and experience the game's magnitude of customization, you quickly become a more dangerous player. It's similar to games like Call of Duty where you get special abilities based on the number of kills you get in a row. However, unlike Call of Duty, you have more than just the standard team deathmatch and free-for-all type games. In conclusion, Crysis 2 is a decent game. I can't say it's a must-have, but as a game that promises beautiful landscapes and lots of action, it certainly lives up to its name. The solid multiplayer makes up for the lack of variety in the single-player campaign. You can only go invisible and stealth kill someone so many times before you want to change it up. And that's why we give Crysis 2 an 8 out of 10.